All right, James here from NFL Australia with our Week 11 power rankings. That's right, we're going to Week 11. We've got an utter butt category that's full of teams that are utter butt, including the Saints. But James, they just won. Yes, but they're still utter butt. Have you seen their coach's ears? I mean, far be it for an ugly mug like me to be casting aspersions, but geez, that bloke can't wear sunglasses. Utter butt, the New England Patriots. But James, they just won as well. Yeah, but they're still utter butt. I love my Pats, but they're utter butt. The Jags are obviously utter butt. They couldn't do anything the other day. That was horrible. Mac Jones, speaking of former Patriots, he was bloody horrible, and they stink. Utter butt. The Raiders, but James, they're on a bye. Do not care. They are still horrible. Like, if you can lose a bye, somehow it's going to be the Raiders to do that. The Giants, they go all the way to Germany and stink up the joint, which is pretty crazy for a place that's full of sauerkraut and German sausage. It takes a bit to stink up that joint, I'll tell you. But the Giants and Danny Dimes, call him Danny Dunn, did it. Don't do what Danny Dimes did. There you go. Nailed it. Cook tier. So we've actually moved a couple around me here on the cook tier because now the Chicago Bears, they're just cooked. You can't score 3 points against the horrible Pats at home and not expect to be cooked on my power rankings. The New York football Jetropolitans. That's right, the Jets, they're cooked. Their season is kaput. Aaron Rodgers, his ankle is the age of like Methuselah at this point, and he's cooked. They're cooked. Jets, you're cooked. The Dolphins, we've moved them out of the utter butt territory. They're just into into cooked because they've got Tua back, which is good because you got two awesome like wide receivers, and someone needs to throw them the ball. So maybe now that he's back, they're just cooked and they're not utter butt. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have an interesting one this week for the Dolphins. Another cooked team, the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Well, they're cooked. That's how about them. Jerry Jones doesn't even know which way to put his bloody stadium to stop the sun getting in the eyes of his own players. They're cooked. It's the bloody solar of bloody, flare coming down onto the ground and cooking the grass and your players and your chances. You're cooked, Dallas. Get out of here. Jerry Jones, geez, I don't know what I've done wrong. I can tell you what you've done wrong, Jerry. A lot. The Browns. They're cooked. I love Jameis, but they're still cooked. The Panthers, Bryce Young, he was decent-ish. They're on their first win streak since the first couple of weeks of 2021, but they're still cooked, I'll tell you. These two teams actually kind of suck. Seattle, they just kind of suck. And the Colts, they've gone, hey, we're going to make a playoff push and go to Joe Flacco. I don't know if 0-2 was in the plans for the playoff push, because you kind of suck. Struggling, but there's a heartbeat. The Bengals, the mighty Bengals and smoking Joey B. Burrow. I kind of believe in the offense. Jamar Chase just went absolutely ham and ripped off 1 million yards and a bunch of touchdowns. So there's a heartbeat. It's going to take a bit, but they're only chasing basically Denver for that wild card in the AFC. Tampa Bay, they're struggling, but there's a heartbeat. That team fights. They're full of grit. I'll tell you what, they're more full of grit than a bloody dump truck. Had the squids walk into the daycare today, and they're just like, Dad, truck, digger. And I'm like, that's a bit of grit. That reminds me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anyway, the LA Rams, they're struggling, but there is still, of course, a heartbeat. They're in the NFC. There's always a heartbeat when you're in the NFC. Matt Stafford, I'll tell you what, didn't look great at home against the Dolphins the other day. They're struggling, but there's a heartbeat. They're okay-ish, but I'm starting to get worried. Green Bay, look, there was a bye, Jim, I know. Yeah, but I'm still worried. Because if they don't come out of this bye and absolutely obliterate the Chicago Bears, yeah, I'm a bit worried. Speaking of worried, Houston. This team has just been all smoke and mirrors all year. They can't beat a good team. Well, they can't even demolish a bad team. And then they get beaten by a Detroit team that throws 5 interceptions. What are you doing, Houston? Get a hold of yourselves. I mean, seriously, I'm a bit worried. And Atlanta. How do you lose to the New Orleans Saints? It's your hated rival. They've got the Rizzler as their bloody coach, a bloke whose ears are around his chin. You can't lose that game, Falcons. Bijan Robinson was fantastic. What are you doing, Kirk Cousins? Jeez. Anyway, legit playoff chances. The Arizona Cardinals, they're on a bye this week, but that team is really decent. Like, that's good. Way to go, Cards. Kyler Murray, he runs like a toddler who's stolen a loaf of bread, but they're a legit playoff chance. Same with the LA Chargers. I love me some Juzzy Herbs. It was fantastic to see him just dodging and weaving and running in for touchdowns and doing all chaos sort of stuff. But Jim Harbaugh, he doesn't eat chicken because it's a nervous bird. Well, he does now, apparently. He's turned his back on that. But I still like the sentiment. They're not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm a big boy, say the Chargers. That defense is sick. Khalil Mack and Bosa, the non-MAGA one. It's awesome. Let's go, Chargers. And then you got the Washington Commies. I'll tell you what. This team, that loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers was pretty tough the other day, but I still believe. That was Jaden Daniels' worst game of the season, and they still almost beat the Steelers. Absolute chaos. I'll tell you what, love me some of the Commies, but there we go. The Vikings, that game sucked. It's pumpkin season, and I'll tell you what, Sam Darnold, I think you're more pumpkin now than man. Denver, they're a legit playoff chance now because they're like at 500, and they're in the AFC playoff picture. As long as you're in the picture, you're a bloody chance, aren't you? Of course you are. Denver, their defense was awesome. They should have won that game against Kansas City. How they did it is still absolutely ridiculous. KC keep pulling wins out absolutely nowhere. Denver, all they had to do was kick a gimme field goal, and they got it bloody blocked. What is going on? Denver did absolutely everything but win that game. It was ridiculous. Way to go, Denver. And the Niners. They held on as well. Jake Moody, what a roller coaster. That's the worst roller coaster. You know those roller coasters where they just drag you up and then just drop you? That's Jake Moody. That's the Jake Moody roller coaster. That's not a roller coaster. I know. It just sucks. But they're still a legit playoff chance because they're the Niners. All right, now we get to the good stuff. The bloody good contenders, Buffalo. They're awesome. How good is Josh Allen? He's going to be pushing Lamar for this third MVP. Well, Lamar's going to win his third MVP unless Josh Allen keeps causing all sorts of havoc, which is what he just does now. I don't mind this Buffalo team a lot. They've got an awesome game this week against KC. Cannot wait. The Philadelphia Eagles. What the hell? Nicky Sriracha just shaves his head. He looks like bloody Romper Stomper. And boom! The Eagles are good again? What the hell is going on there in Philly? I guess they're all just warming up to throw batteries at Santa. Anyway, the Ravens. They're bloody good. We know that. That game against Cincinnati was insane. Just Lamar in that fourth quarter, absolute chef's kiss. It was unreal. The Ravens are bloody good, and so are the Pittsburgh Steelers. How they managed to win that game against a very, very feisty Commanders team was unreal. I love that they went and got Mike Williams. It's like, what is Russell Wilson like doing? Throwing the ball up high and really long, and he doesn't really know where it's going. What does Mike Williams do? He goes and catches those exact sorts of balls. It's a match made in heaven. I love that. Pittsburgh is sick. Like, that defense is just gnarly, and the offense is fine. So, way to go. And then, of course, smashing tins, stacking wins. I'll tell you what, the Detroit footballing Lions, how they managed to win that game with 5 interceptions from Jared Goff, who doesn't know which way the sun rises in the morning. It's east, Jared. It's east. But also, they're amazing. I love that team. I'm a full-blown absolute Lions defender. I'm a full-blown Detroit Lions fan. I've given up on the Patriots now. We're going full-blown Detroit. And, of course, KC. They just don't lose, ever. Quite literally, they don't lose. They're 15-0 in their last 15. They've won 9 straight to start the season. All Denver had to do was kick a field goal, and KC like, nah, we'll just even block that and win the game. They're taking the piss. Kansas City is taking the piss right now. Mahomes are I don't know how we won that game, but we did. It's like, great job, Patrick. Awesome. Smashing tins and stacking wins. It's all KC does. All right, stay tuned for NFL Australia during the week for all your NFL footballing needs.